Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, who is the Las Vegas Raiders' secret OC candidate? I'm going to play a little bit of detective work here, and I'm going to see what I can uncover. And I'm going to be ranking some of these candidates. And if you don't know what the report is, this one is from Hondo Carpenter, and he said this: there are still a lot of names out there, and I was told that there was one name that nobody has. I don't have him. I don't know who it is that could possibly get an interview that was a rather large, big-name coach, a former head coach. The person said, I am not going to tell you who it is, so I can truthfully tell you I have no idea who it is. But I was told it was a very well-known former coach. So what I'm going to be trying to do here today is I'm going to be ranking who I believe this secret OC candidate is from Hondo Carpenter. I'm going to be ranking him from 5 all the way down to 1. So, spoiler alert here, whoever I have ranked at number 1 is the person that I believe Hondo is talking about. So what do I want you to do? Put on your detective hat here and let me know what you're thinking. Who do you think the secret Raiders OC candidate is? And remember, previous head coaching experience, I'm going to look at some ties, I'm going to look at the tea leaves, but the person who I believe it is going to be coming up here at number 1. Anytime that we talk about OCs, anytime we talk about breaking news, there's going to be a lot of stuff to uncover. And I'm a big fan of where there's smoke, there's fire. This one's a little bit different. This one is where you have to look at the connections. You have to look at networking because the NFL is it's a small person league where they talk to a lot of the same people. You got to be able to network. So my guesses on who the secret OC is coming up right now. Let's go with number 5, and I'm going to say Eric Bieniemy. And some of you are going to be like, well, wait a minute, Mitch. He wasn't an NFL head coach. You're not wrong. He was an assistant head coach. So I'm just going to put Bieniemy on this list based off of some other things that have been reported around the NFL, other things that have been reported around the Las Vegas Raiders, because he was an assistant head coach twice. Maybe they would potentially look at him. One with the Vikings back in 2010, the Commanders this past year, he was assistant head coach and OC in 2023. And with, Washington still haven't really decided who their next OC is he going to be out of a job? I believe that he is. The Raiders also made it known that they want to be able to hire people with knowledge of the AFC West. One of the things that Mark Davis noted in their intro press conference was one of the reasons why they ended up going with Tom Telesco is because of his experience in the AFC West from 2013 to 2023. And Bieniemy does have some success and does have that resume, especially in the AFC West. And here's the other thing, right? Like, if you're looking at Patrick Mahomes, a guy who's gone to all these Super Bowls already, he's got 14 freaking playoff wins, third most in the NFL, 6 straight AFC championship appearances, 8 straight AFC West titles. Can you find somebody that potentially gives you a competitive advantage to compete with him? That is Eric Bieniemy. I will also admit, because I say it on the show all the time, due to Fred Bilenikoff's daughter, and if you don't know the whole story and some of Eric Bieniemy's, we'll call them past issues, this would be one of the reasons why I would say that they would not hire him. Let's go to number 4 here on my list of who the heck is the Raiders' secret OC Hondo Carpenter is describing. This name, Hugh Jackson. And I know some of y'all have heard of him before. Previously, he was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders back in 2011. Also, the Browns head coach from 2016 to 2018. And currently, the Grambling head coach from 2022 to 2023. He's got ties with the Raiders, and this is always a very common name that gets brought up here anytime that we talk about new head coaches, OCs, because of him previously being with the Silver and Black. He also has ties, though, with Arizona State, and I'm telling you right now, that has to mean something, concerning the fact that that's where Antonio Pierce is from. Marvin Lewis coached a little bit there. I mean, we're still talking about a 10-year differential and gap, but I just believe that NFL circles, college circles, they stay very close. Cincinnati is important because the Raiders do value Trey Brown. I know that Brown is not a part of this regime, but he is interviewed for the GM job now 3 times, 2019, 2022, and now in 2024. So I do know that they value his opinion. And we were talking about it literally, just a few days ago. I think it was on our Thursday show that Hugh Jackson does still have interest coaching in the NFL. One of my good friends down here in Dallas does a podcast with Hugh, or used to do a podcast with Hugh before he started coaching at Grambling. And he said that, yes, he absolutely is still looking to get back into the NFL. So I got 3 more candidates coming up here in just a second. But before I do, shout out to Prize Picks. And if anybody out there is like me, I don't want the Niners to win. I don't want the Chiefs to win. If I could figure out a way where both teams could lose in the Super Bowl, I would be all in. So you know what? I'm hoping I can at least win some money with Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Just make sure that you use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. That link's going to be available to you all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. And if you're wondering, Mitch, well, what are you rolling with for the big game? Patrick Mahomes, more than half a passing yard. This is the special deal that they have right now. So I look at this saying, all right, I only got to get 3 right because spoiler alert, this one's going to happen. Patrick Mahomes is going to have more than half of a passing yard. If Brock Purdy gets more than 11.5 rushing yards, he had over 50 yesterday. Isaiah Pacheco, 7 straight games with a touchdown. Give me the more there. And then Kyle Juszczyk needs 1 catch. He had 2 catches yesterday, 3 catches up against the Buffalo Bills. So to me, I put down 20. I got a chance to win $200. And if you're like, that sounds pretty damn good, guess what? Roll with it. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Code CLNS. There is a reason why PrizePicks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. It's quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Shout out to them for sponsoring the Raiders Report. Let's go to number 3 here on my list. It's Arthur Smith, former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to say about a week and a half ago, I had a source reach out to me and said, hey, don't be shocked if the Raiders try to interview Smith if they want to try to run the football a little bit more, because that's kind of what Arthur Smith was known for back with his time when he was the OC with the Tennessee Titans. And I'll admit, he's definitely was a better OC than he was as a head coach. He seemed to be in a little bit over his head in Atlanta, but started coaching in the NFL and college back in 2007, has then basically been in the NFL since 2008. But he was the Falcons head coach for the past few seasons, and it didn't really go all that well, right? The quarterback play, they couldn't quite get that right. They were able to run the football pretty effectively. However, though, there are people that are close to Mark Davis in his ear. I'll tell you who it is. It's Tom Brady, who also is very highly thought or thinks very highly of Arthur Smith because of his connections with Mike Vrabel. So I'm telling you right now, Arthur Smith is somebody to at least keep in mind to be this secret OC candidate. And what I actually just learned today, his dad owns FedEx. So as we know, Mark Davis is poor. I'm just kidding. But his dad owns FedEx, so maybe he doesn't actually need the money.
Hey, maybe he can help on the ground and in the air.
I'm with it. Let's go to number 2 here on our list, Adam Gase. And this is the one that I literally LOL. But Adam Gase does have some legitimate ties with the current Raiders regime. And I go back to thinking the old school days where Adam Gase would be up to a podium. And honestly, the picture that we have of him, it kind of reminds me of that. I mean, his just have no idea clue face. It's just unbelievable. But he was an old head coach with the Dolphins back in 2016 and 2018. New York Jets head coach from 2019 to 2020. And let's face it, again, another example here of horrible head coach, but people do still regard him as being a good offensive mind. Here's the other thing, though. He worked in the AFC West with the Broncos from 2009 to 2014. Currently working as an advisor with the Raiders with Marvin Lewis and Tom Coughlin. So you think about, this is the big note here. This is why Adam Gase is number 2 on my list. Here's another reason we're at the AFC West, and then he does have some previous head coaching experience. And the reason why his previous head coaching experience is important is because who he coached for, the Miami Dolphins. Guess who's got a lot of ties to Miami? Tom Brady, who's very close to Mark Davis. But guess what? None of those guys are the person that I believe Hondo Carpenter is referring to. There is one person that I think that it is, and I'm going to tell you who that is. So here's your final chance for those of you watching live. Here's your final chance for those that aren't watching live. Who I think the Raiders' secret OC candidate is. Well, how about this? I'll tell you after I tell you about Chugs and I's awesome Super Bowl 58 watch party out in Las Vegas. And I know there's going to be some people that say, hey, man, I'm not going to watch the game. I doubt that. It's freaking Super Bowl Sunday. What else you going to do on the biggest day of the year for NFL fans? But here's how I'm just going to be real with y'all. This is a game that I don't want the Chiefs to win. I don't want the 49ers to win. It's a lose-lose situation at Allegiant Stadium. But I do not want Niner fans to take over Las Vegas. I don't want Kansas City to take over Las Vegas. And if you're in the same boat and you want to come hang out with Chugs and I, Ahern Hotel, show up at this time, 2 p.m. Pacific. We're getting started about 90 minutes right before kickoff. The address is right here. And if you're also wondering, all right, well, what does it look like from the outside? This is what it looks like from the outside, and where we're going to be putting on this event is going to be here at this showroom. Now, I don't have the Eventbrite link yet, but I am hoping I have it tomorrow where you guys can start reserving seats. And I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be $90 for all you can eat. and it's going to be $160 for all you can eat and all you can drink. It's still free to get into, but if you want to just reserve a spot to that way get your drink deal, get your food deal, you can do that. There's going to be boots there, so some of y'all are going to be able to take some boots. We're going to do some shots with Chugs and I. We're going to have the game on one screen. We're going to have our watch party on the other screen, but if you like what Jeremy and I do, well, here's our opportunity to be able to show you what we do in person, party in person, and if I'm going to have to watch the Chiefs and 49ers play, I might as well do it with my friends and family. Shout out to the nation. So please, if you could, pull up. I wanted this event to go well. That way Chugs and I have an opportunity to do events every single game day this upcoming season. So who is it? Who is this mystery OC candidate that Hondo Carpenter is referring to? The person that I believe that it is Frank Reich, former head coach of the Carolina Panthers. And there's multitude of reasons why I believe that it's Reich. Yes, it did not go well this past time with him in Carolina. I think also, though, it was pretty well documented that he wanted C.J. Stroud, not Bryce Young, but Tepper ended up sticking him with Bryce Young instead. On top of that, the Raiders obviously have great connections with Ed Dodds, who interviewed for the GM job. Ed Dodds speaks very highly of Frank Reich, who was with him from 2018 to 2022. Tons of head coaching experience, and has coached some good offenses. And maybe Frank Reich is built just to be a offensive coordinator, somebody who can really only handle the offensive side of the football. However, I do think that Reich is one of the better coaches out there, and if you're able to add somebody that has that experience to your offense, that is very, very important. Here's the other one, though. He worked with Tom Telesco from 2013 to 2015. Where? In the AFC West. And what is the other thing that I'm just seeing time and time again with the Raiders in terms of who they are bringing in for coaches? They're not bringing only in just coaches. They're bringing in people that played in the NFL and also coached. To me, that's Frank Reich, who played in the NFL from 1985 to 98. So you add all of that up together. That is why I believe the secret big-name OC candidate that Hondo Carpenter is referring to is Frank Reich. If you want to take a screenshot of this, if you want to post it on social media, just make sure that you tag me at MitchellRenz365. I also want to give you guys a little bit of a scheduling update here around the Raiders Report because we're going to be doing a little bit different things this week. So I'm going to be live with Chugs Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Next Monday, a week from today, I will not be live. We're getting ready for our trip out to Las Vegas. We're going to be out there in Media Row. We're going to be doing a lot of content out there. So Monday, you're not going to get a live show. We will be back then, Tuesday, right before we leave for Vegas Wednesday morning. So the next times that you're going to see us live, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and then the following Tuesday, all 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So put it in your calendar right now, and hopefully you're ready to turn up here with the nation.